Has Kyle Shanahan discovered and developed a quarterback? He's an offensive genius. He gets a lot of credit. Has he done this, though?
So I've looked through everything, and I don't see anybody that he has discovered. Maybe he's maybe discovered. I don't know. When he went over to Houston, they at the same time he was made the quarterback coach. That's when they traded for Matt Schaub, or that's when they signed.
Yeah, but Gary Kubiak was a quarterback and a quarterback coach. I would have to give Gary Kubiak some credit for that.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know who was responsible. Like,
Matt Schaub.
Yeah,
he wasn't that good.
Kyle was like, I want Matt Schaub. I've never heard any reports.
Even when Schaub was putting up numbers, he was not that good.
Right.
No,
right.
I'm sorry. No, it was the scheme.
His first year with Kyle, he was 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. They went 8-8. Second year, he did get improved, 29 touchdowns, 15. Or his first year is 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. They were 8-8. Second year, 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 8-8. Third year, he did improve, 29 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. One thing about Kyle, I will say is I think he just like right now.
They didn't even go to the playoffs, though. Just saying.
They did not.
But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
One thing about Kyle that he does do well is that he dials up receivers wide open. So it's possible he's putting
play action.
Yeah, he's putting quarterbacks in easy passing situations for the dink and dunk passing game.
Yeah.
And so he does have that, but did he?
But real quick, like that play action stuff, isn't that like first half, first down, second down, early in the game? You know what I mean? Like when you're down 10 in the second half, it's like no one's going to react to your run fakes, but keep going.
Because no drop back passing game, right?
Right, but it works because they have the number one defense, so they're not losing by 10 in the second half very much.
Right. If he can get up in front of you, run the ball, control the clock, hold you on defense, he's going to win you a lot of ball games.
Beat you up.
Yes, but if you tell any of his quarterbacks, any of his teams, go out and win the game. We're down by 10. We need to just attack in a passing game. He's never shown that.
And it's like, why did he call that deep shot on the first drive of the game against Philly? Well, they were down 7.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he knows that both of those teams are built to play from ahead.
Yes.
Philly got the lead first for 2 reasons. Kyle deferred on the road because he always does. And then he didn't challenge the fourth down. He could have got the ball back 0-0, but he didn't. Down 7, I think he got. I'm not going to say he panicked, but I think he got a little nervous and was like, "I can't. We got to even the game up right now. Right now.
You know, and
we're not built to play from behind. Neither are they."
It's a strange thing, honestly, because it's not their trademark. Maybe they should have just stuck with what they're usually doing because that's what they're used to. Again, they're not used to doing the drop back pass game, and that was a play action, right? So.
Come back to our original point. How do you actually develop a quarterback if you're not really protecting him or emphasizing drop back passing? If it's all play action, then it's all you, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's all you. It's all these schemed up plays on first and second down, but really where quarterbacks make their money and show that they're elite are the things they do on third down and in the red zone. And that's why people like Brock Purdy. Is because when your plays don't necessarily work, instead of, Jimmy who just like throws an interception and says it's your fault, Kyle, like Brock holds on to the ball and runs around and makes something happen on his own. We all like that. And your number one coaching point was to stop doing that so much? Of course it was, Kyle. Of course it was. That's what we don't like about you.
Yeah, it's definitely
respectfully.
Yeah. Moving forward, after that, he went to Washington. I just read that article in regards to
he discovered Kirk Cousins. We'll give him that.
Well, before that, Donovan McNabb and him had that big clash, right? I think we talked about that, or I think I talked about on my show, but Donovan McNabb and him had problems. I guess it's apparently Donovan McNabb had the best drive of the season for Washington, and it's because he went off script. And Kyle Shanahan, immediately after the best drive of the season, was quoted as saying, he'll never take another snap from me again.
Yeah. Wow.
Because he went off script.
Wow. Guy had been to so many Pro Bowls and like, wow. Okay. Yeah. And he was like 30, Kyle. Younger than McNabb.
Yeah.
Let's go to Cousins for a second because that's Kyle's crown jewel. Kyle wanted him earlier in the draft and was adamant about taking him. And Kirk Cousins has become a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback. But so he discovered Kirk for sure. Did he develop Kirk? He had Kirk for like
4 games,
2 years, 2 years,
games. 4 games,
4 games, 4 games, right? Kind of like with Trey. And his numbers were awful, worse than Trey's. So to me, it's kind of like, let's say Trey leaves the Niners, goes somewhere else, plays well. Would Kyle get credit for developing Trey? Because that's kind of what happened with Kirk. Kyle left. Sean McVay becomes the offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden Kirk takes off. So I would look at that as as Sean McVay developing Kirk Cousins, not Kyle. Just like someone else might develop Trey Lance, but not Kyle.
You can't call Kirk Cousins being developed by Kyle Shanahan in 4 games. And honestly, the quarterback that played the best for him in Washington was RG3, and that's apparently who he wanted, right? And he definitely didn't develop RG3. He kind of ruined his career.
Ruined him. Ran him too much, which which foreshadowed his tenure as a head coach. Because really, when he was with Washington, it kind of seemed like he was the head coach. Like Mike was like, "Hey man, Kyle, whatever you want to do, I'm not going to say no." And they had a lot of the same issues they're having now. He's having now as head coach.
Yes.
When he was in Atlanta and Houston, he was not the head coach. There was some oversight, and wow, the quarterback stayed healthy. Funny how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Matt Ryan, here's the thing: is like, people always say that he developed him into an MVP quarterback, and he was good.
Multiple Pro Bowls.
He's been multiple Pro Bowls. I mean, the year that they went to the Pro Bowl, he had 4,944 yards, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, which was good. They went to the Super Bowl, biggest Super Bowl loss comeback in history, right? But the season before that, Kyle Shanahan got there, he got there in 2015, 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 4,500 yards. But even the season before he got there, he actually had more yards and more touchdowns and less interceptions than when Kyle Shanahan got there. In 2014, Matt Ryan had 4,694 yards, 28 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So he actually had a better year than the season when Kyle Shanahan first got there in 2016. And then the following year, he did play well. But, I mean, they had a ton of weapons in Atlanta. So he definitely didn't discover Matt Ryan. He did put him in a good position that Super Bowl year to win the game, but he kind of blew it in the Super Bowl, unfortunately. So I don't know if we say he developed Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan was already thrown for 4,000 plus yards before Kyle Shanahan got there.
Did he develop Jimmy Garoppolo?
Into what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo spent a lot of years with Josh McDaniels. He came here, had success right away. Like, was that McDaniels who developed him? And then he got steadily worse as time went on with the 49ers. So where was Kyle Shanahan's great coaching there?
He put him in I feel like, to me, with Jimmy Garoppolo, he definitely didn't discover him. Obviously, that's Bill Belichick that discovered Jimmy G, and then John Lynch is the one that really went hard in the paint for him. Obviously, you can give Kyle a little credit for that, but Jimmy looked better when he first got to the 49ers. As time went on, he became more of just a game manager, dink and dunker, scared to do anything. It looked like there was no trust between Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think he developed him into a better quarterback. I think he just put him in situations where he could just dink and dunk and have a high completion percentage, yak yards, let your weapons take off and run, but didn't necessarily make him a better drop back quarterback.
His best play was before he knew the 49ers playbook. That was his best performance that year. In 2017, came in, didn't know the playbook, went out on instinct, played kind of like Brock.
Yeah.
That was his best time. He got steadily less confident, more indecisive. Yeah. Kyle couldn't keep him healthy, couldn't keep himself healthy. That was his big project. He had Jimmy for 5 years or more.
Yeah.
And the guy did not get better. He got worse and couldn't stay healthy. So I just don't see Kyle Shanahan having this, he coached Matt Ryan for 2 years. He coached Kirk Cousins for 2 years. Like, he's never done it long-term with anyone. The only guy he really had long-term was Jimmy, and we all see how that went. So I think the answer is no. A lot of people, and then people will counter with, well, which head coach really does develop a quarterback anyway? And why are we, this is an unfair standard to hold. It's like, hold on. If Kyle had done it, you'd give him credit for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. They answer the question with a question instead of just
come
give me
on.
the answer. Yeah, just give me the answer.
Man. When Kyle either gets credit for everything, or if he can't take credit for something, people will be like, well, no one can really do that. Like, I mean,
Bill Walsh did it 3 times. Andy Reid's done it. I mean, Pete Carroll's done it. There's a lot of great coaches.
A lot of coaches can identify a talented quarterback and keep him healthy and play to his strengths and minimize his weaknesses. All that.
Yeah.
Hero Winchester says, recently more players, fans, and other content creators are calling you out for your takes. Really? Who called me out? Do you think it's fair to hold reporters accountable for their takes in today's age, or are they above reproach? Of course. I mean, reporters are always held accountable. It's a public forum, and all of our stuff is on the record with our name next to it.
No one's above
in perpetuity.
Yeah, no one's above reproach, even coaches.
Correct. Khalil Kemp says, I believe Kyle Shanahan can't scout the quarterback position for one simple reason. When he's in his office looking at film, he's not watching the player. He's watching for his scheme. No, he's actually watching himself throw spirals. You know that?
I think Kyle's very wide receiver focused. Even though he's not a drop back passing game, he just really looks at the offense from like these short wide receiver routes, getting them wide open. That's really what he really focuses on. It's not the run game necessarily, even though he gets a lot of credit for the run game. It's really these short receiving routes that make Kyle Shanahan good at what he does.
Right. And I think also to Khalil's point, when he's looking at quarterbacks, or when he's thinking about the quarterback for his system, he's thinking about, what do I need? Not necessarily like who's a transcendent talent that I could build around. He needs a guy who's comfortable being under center, turning his back to the defense and doing play action. If he won't do that, Kyle won't budge. So that kind of limits you right there, because how many colleges really do that anymore? Fewer and fewer.
And I'm honestly, I am worried about Brock Purdy because, you saw what happened with Jimmy. When he started with us, he seemed very free. And you saw the frustration between him and Kyle. He came out with like things like your play sucked. And in the press conferences afterwards, where he just said he wants to play free. And it was kind of like just calling out Kyle. I mean, it's after they tried to trade him, right? And he's in the press conference saying he wants to play free. And then you hear the quotes about what they're trying to do with Brock Purdy, make him play within the scheme of the offense more and take away what he was good at. I'm worried that they're going to just hinder Brock Purdy in year two or as he goes along. And, this, I don't want you doing this off script stuff. If you would have just done what I said within the scheme of the offense, you would have been able to pass to so-and-so and we would have got, that's what I worry about. And McNabb, same thing with McNabb. The same thing McNabb said. He said he's not going to cater to the offense around the quarterback and his strengths. He wants you to play within his system. And if you do something off script, it's not good.
And that's crazy to me. Like coaching is playing to your player's strengths every time. That's all it is in every sport. And Kyle doesn't do that. His scheme is so special that you have to cater to his scheme. And he wonders why he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. But a lot of people think it's coming. We'll see. Brian Lester says, if Kyle Shanahan was fired today, who would you and Ryan choose to replace him? Brian, that's kind of an unfair question because no one fires a head coach in June. The hiring cycle's already over. All the candidates are hired. It's something you do in January or December. So we'll talk about where we rank Kyle Shanahan, but if you want to replace a coach, you kind of have to do it at a specific time in the year. No one's available right now.
I'd have to go through the interview process, Brian. I need to sit down and talk to these gentlemen.
Bang Bang says, just want to put this out there during the Monday Night Football game versus the Rams. I saw Jed and Adam Schefter talking for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it makes sense. They both worked for NFL Network at some point, right?
No, Jed. Jed York and Adam Schefter. Talking for 15 minutes. Thank you, Bang Bang. Wow. Mui says, also, this regime was once reputed to be tight-lipped. Suddenly, there's leaks all over the place. Could mean the start of power division instability. Not a good sign.
No. They leak.
A lot of covering their asses.
The whole they don't leak thing is not true.
Over. Kyle is Red Bolio from The Waterboy. Can't do anything without his stolen inherited scheme. Purdy play will not be the same next season because of Kyle. That is messed up. He stole the Fonz's playbook. Jaleel D says, man, I missed the call-in show, Ryan.
Every Sunday.
Come on, dog.